Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome. Great to see you, Troy Worthen, up in action again very soon against Shuya Kamikubo. It's been a tough year for you, man, but I've seen you've been training hard, working hard, and pleased to get back in there. Kamikubo should be a good test for you. He's on a decent run of form. How do you like this challenge for you?
Kamikubo is actually the guy I was supposed to fight in my last fight. I ended up, getting off the scale at weigh-ins and signing a contract to fight John Lineker in the main event. But I had already prepared for 8 weeks against Shuya Kamikubo. So this matchup is one that's been, on my mind for a while. I feel pretty prepared for his style. I think that was one of the issues in the Lineker fight is I'd spent 8 weeks trying to deal with a pressure wrestler. So there's a lot of footwork differences in the, way you want to approach fighting a guy like Lineker versus a guy like Kamikubo. So, I feel very prepared for Kamikubo. I think it's going to be a great fight for me to showcase myself and my skill set. So, I mean, he's number 4 in the world right now. And I'm like an 8-fight win streak. So, after 2 losses, this puts me right back in the mix.
Kamikubo. Oh, Saadulaev. Yeah, he's number 3 in the world right now. So, Kamikubo choked out his last opponent, Mitchell Chalabi, and then, put it together a bunch of decisions before that. And, he hasn't lost since 2015. So it's another big test for you. They haven't really given you anything easy since you signed. But is that how you wanted it? Do you just want to be thrown in with the Lions?
I've never asked for anything easy, maybe, stepping outside the top 5 for my next fight would be nice. Get a little break, but I'm not going to make any complaints. I'm just happy I get to work. It was a tough year. I think I'm better than both the guys I lost to, which maybe I'm delusional or maybe I had off nights. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in a couple of weeks. But I'm excited. I think having tough fights is just going to make me a better martial artist. And, as good as Kamikubo is, and I do think he's an amazing grappler, I think he hasn't really had the hardest route. I think he has the opposite route of me. I fought all guys with positive records, all guys that are, really highly touted and won championship. And he's fought kind of the mid-tier guys. And my best friend, Mitchell Chalabi, not to downgrade how good he is, but he's been retired for 6 years and took that fight on a couple of days notice without training. So, might be his best win, and that's a retired flyweight. So I think he hasn't really proven himself yet. And, maybe he's the real deal and he gets past me and he proves me wrong, but I think I'm just on a different level.
What was it like for you to take that Lineker fight? Because, there's a fighter's mentality taking fights on short notice, but we're talking about, arguably one of the best, ever in this weight class, maybe. And I'm sure you want those challenges, but did you expect to have that challenges this early on in your one career?
Honestly, it was a shock. I was on layover, I think in Doha, and I got a text from one and they're like, "Hey, we have an opportunity. Can you call us?" And I'm like, "Oh, what is this?" And I ended up finding out it was the main event against Lineker. And I was like, well, that's a big difference. So, and I can't explain all the stuff that happened, but I really didn't know if I was going to fight Lineker or Kamikubo until I got off the scale at weigh-ins. So even the whole week trying to do warm-ups, trying to do training sessions, I didn't even know who I was preparing for. So that was tough. But, I always say I'm a martial artist and I do this to challenge myself. So there was no doubt in my mind that if my team said yes, that I was going to say yes. I was going to take that challenge. Definitely looking back, maybe I should have had a little bit better preparation for him, but that's the game. I think I was fighting really well until I got caught. I think I got a little lazy watching him throw 1,000 hooks. So I thought a hook was coming and it ended up being a straight punch. Kudos to him. I guess maybe he set me up or maybe he just threw a lucky punch. I don't know. I had just really felt like I got comfortable. And I kind of started dropping my hands, and that's when the straight punch came and put me to sleep. But, that's just the game we play. I could have been the better guy the entire night, and he threw one punch and won the fight. He could have smashed me for all 15 minutes. I think when you're at this level, sometimes stuff like that just happens. I don't think that takes away from what I can do as a martial artist. And I'm always going to take those challenges. You know, I'm not running from anybody. I'm still not scared of John Lineker. I'll fight him on 1 day's notice this week, this time. I don't care. Like, that's just the way I am. I am who I am, and I try to back it up. You know, I don't try and say things just to be popular, to make sound bites. I say things because I truly believe them. So, you know, maybe that gets me in trouble sometimes, but that's the life I live.
Well, maybe that's the mentality you have to be the best, man. So respect for that. Did you feel like you were in there with one of the best ever? Do you feel like you're in there with the guy who's going to be the champion? Is he going to beat Bibiano, do you think?
To be completely honest, and this is going to sound crazy, I'm sure people are going to shit on me in the comments for saying this, and I don't know if I can cuss, I'm sorry. But I didn't think he was that good after the first 2 minutes. You know, I was like, wow, like I was expecting a little bit more feints, a little more setups. He really was just putting his head down, running forward and throwing hooks, which was pretty expected. You know, he's really good at what he does. He makes people brawl and he throws really hard punches. I will say he's a hard hitter. Everybody was talking about the body shots. One reposted every week about the body shots he was hitting me with. Nothing hurt me. Like, none of that hurt. It's just like leg kicks. If you hear the loud smacking noise, you're not landing them correctly. It should be digging in. There should be no noise there. So the body shots really weren't hurting. The head shots really weren't hurting. I was seeing everything coming until the straight punch, obviously. So I think he's got crazy knockout power and he forces people into brawls, but I don't think he did anything special. I think there's quite a few guys in the division that can beat him on the right night, and he could also knock them out on the right night. As far as the fight with Bibiano, I think if Bibiano can successfully get to the ground, he probably submits Lineker, to be completely honest. But if Lineker can make him brawl like he did me, then yeah, it's probably gonna be a rough night for Bibiano. I mean, it's just kind of who can impose their will there. And I think it could be very one-sided, or it could be a tough fight until it's not for some guy. But I do think someone gets finished within 5 rounds in that fight.
It's a fascinating one. It's a fascinating time for the division. Do you think bantamweight is the best division right now?
I think it's hard to argue that we're not. I think we're definitely the deepest. I mean, the top 5 is not. I would say top 5 is the only division in one right now where it's not enough. I think you need a top 10 for the bantamweight division. Everybody's so good. I could name off 10 guys right now that deserve a ranking, and everybody can beat anybody on like any given night. I definitely think bantamweight's probably the hardest division one right now, and it's exciting for me.
A really cool matchup that maybe should take place is Andrade against Stephen Loman. Do you think that's the fight that needs to happen after last week, where they both scored awesome knockouts?
I mean, that's super interesting. I know Loman was the guy that was supposed to fight Lineker, so they were trying to slide him into like a #1 contender spot. I would say Andrade is probably the #1 contender right now after his work last year. So, yeah, I mean, that'd be an interesting fight. I would like to watch it. I think Andrade would win that one-sidedly, to be honest. Loman's very good. He's very athletic. He has the Lakai style, but he was getting hit with some shots from Saadulaev. Like Saadulaev was having success with jabbing him and stuff like that. And Andrade's striking is a little bit of a different level. So I think Andrade would win that pretty one-sidedly, but I would love to watch it. So for sure. I mean, sure, put it together one.
As we speak, I'm not sure if the rankings have been updated, to be honest, because we've still got Beling on at 2, Saadulaev at 3, Andrade at 4, and Sato at 5. I imagine that, you know, they're going to move Andrade up and Beling on down after those results. Were you surprised by what happened to Saadulaev, having fought him? I mean, he's beaten Adriano Moraes in the past. He's beaten Beling on. You know, he's got some good wins. Were you surprised?
I was more so surprised he didn't try to grapple. You know, going into my fight with him, I thought that I was probably going to be the one to knock him out, just because it seems like recently he's been striking a lot more and not getting into the grappling exchanges, where he's probably one of the best in the world, which I thought was like a bad idea. I think I had an off night and just had an atrocious approach to the striking game that night. But I expected if he didn't get a takedown, he was probably going to get knocked out sooner or later by striking with these guys that are a little bit higher level on the striking. But I mean, it was impressive to see him just get slept like that. But, you know, when you have a guy that's that high level on the ground and probably mid-tier on his feet and you're going against a guy that's super high level on his feet, then it's bound to happen eventually. I really thought if he would have just went in there and grappled for the first round, then he probably would have been able to finish Loman on the ground. I just don't think the level of grappling in the Philippines is quite the level of the Russian Dagestanis. So, maybe poor choice by Saadulaev, but he beat me with it. So who am I to talk?
Where are you training right now? Because I saw you did get some work in earlier in the year in Sandford, which has now become kind of a bit of a hub for one, with Martin and Ongla there. How did you get on over there, and where have you had this camp?
Yeah, I'm still at Sandford full time. Got the shirt on right now.
Okay, nice.
We definitely are the hub for one right now. We got Teal Tang, we got Ongla, who's like the king. Martin Nguyen, Antonio Caruso comes over here for his camps. One of my ex-teammates from Evolve, Kim Kiasung, actually came through and trained last week with us. So the one championship fighters definitely are flocking towards Sandford. I did, this whole camp here. I've been training here. I did come off of a broken nose that happened in training, unfortunately. So I was out of the gym for a bit, and I've been a little quieter on social media this year, just trying to focus on myself. But I'm definitely at Sandford, and that's where I did the camp. And I think the level of guys that I have in the room every day, it's hard to beat. I think I have harder rounds in the gym than I'm going to have in this fight.
Are you still Pretty Boy Troy, by the way?
I am still Pretty Boy Troy.
Yeah.
I don't believe you get to pick your own monikers, and that was given to me, so I have to stick with it. I think it's probably not representative of my actual personality, but that was the name that was given to me, so I have to stick with it. But Troy the Fighter Guy is my Instagram tag.
Yeah, I saw it. Cool. It's an interesting one, mate. This year has been tough on a lot of people. Are you going to be back in Singapore at all? And what's the plan, do you think? Are you waiting for the pandemic to kind of figure it out a bit, or are you going to be staying in Florida now?
I'm going to be in Florida for the future, as far as I know right now. As far as I know right now, Florida is where home is. It's where I'm from. I'm comfortable here. So that's where I'm at for now. I'm always open to any opportunity that comes forward and trying to progress my career. So if something that I can't turn down shows up, then we'll pursue that then. But for now, I'm at Sandford MMA, and I'm trying to get back towards the belt.
It's a crazy division in one. It's a crazy division in the UFC. In Ryzen, they've had bantamweight tournaments. Who do you think is the best bantamweight in the world right now?
I think Petr Yan. Petr Yan's probably the best in the world. Kyoji Horiguchi's up there. He obviously just coming off a big KO loss, but like I said, you can be the best guy and still lose. It's just the way the game is, man. It's unfortunate, but that's part of it. I think Kyoji Horiguchi is probably top 3 in the world as well. But Petr Yan's just, man, the guys he's beaten and the way he's done it is just super impressive. And you haven't really seen the guy in trouble until we see somebody really put him in deep water. I guess, he's number 1 in the world. No one can really argue it. But like we've talked about before, bantamweight, I think, is one of the deepest weight classes, not just in one championship, but the entire world. There's other sports for big guys. So, you have some of the top athletes go to play American football or soccer or baseball and all these different sports. There's not really top athletic sports for smaller guys. It's just fighting. So we have all the top athletes in the bantamweight and featherweight and flyweight divisions. That's our creme de la creme of sporting. So I think you're having the best athletes in these divisions.
It's very cool. You fought 2 of the top 5 guys. Do you think that's what's up for you again? If you get a good win here, and is that what you want? Another top 5 guy? Who would make sense if you got a good win here?
I'm starting to learn a little bit. I'm growing a little bit. And I'm not in so much of a rush. Originally, when I got in, I just wanted to fight every weekend, and I wanted to fight every guy every weekend. I wanted to fight the top guys. I wanted the belt immediately. I think I'm calming down a little bit. I just want to really progress my skill set and, do it the right way, not just rush to the belt and try and win it. I want to be there for a long time when I get there. So I don't really care who it is. I fought Lineker, who was the number 1 guy on a day's notice. I've shown that that's not like a big deal to me, but maybe I'll slow down. If it's a top 5 guy next, then it is what it is. And if it's a prospect, that's fine. If it's a guy on a 5-fight losing streak, that's fine. I just want to go out there and compete and, express myself as a martial artist. So I'm not really too worried about what's next after Shuya right now. I just need to focus on him because he is number 3 or 4 in the world, and he is one of the best guys, and I have to respect that.
Respect, man. Looking forward to having you back. Nice one, Troy. Cheers.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the interview, Andrew.